This is about your house. God says something was hidden inside it that needed to be exposed. Michael begs you to open this now before the signs erase. This is about your house. Not just a structure of wood, brick, and stone. Not merely a dwelling place of memory and routine. No, this is about the territory you inhabit. The place where your name echoes through the halls, where your tears have been sown into the floors, where your laughter was recorded in the walls, and where your battles, silent and loud, have shaped the very atmosphere. This is not just a message, it is a divine summons. This is about your house. Tonight, at the midnight watch, a window in the spirit realm opened. At precisely 12:00 a.m., the hour of transition between days, a watchman cried out. A crack in the veil was made visible to the angels assigned over regions, and one of them, mighty and radiant, descended. It was Michael, heaven's chief warring prince. His appearance was not casual. It was urgent. His face shone with divine clarity. His sword was at his side, but his hands reached toward your door. He begged. He pleaded. Not in weakness, but in holy desperation. A message had to be delivered, and it had to be now. Something sacred was hidden inside the house. A sealed thing. It wasn't merely physical. It may be an object, yes, or a word never spoken, or a secret never confessed. But its concealment was not for protection. It was a delay. For what has been hidden in silence has also caused delay in destiny, in healing, in justice. And now, heaven has demanded its exposure. What was once permitted to rest must now be revealed, because what hath been concealed has attracted watchers, spirits, even curses. The house, your house, is not just a place of memory. It has become a chamber of unanswered things. And now, signs are appearing. You have felt them. Sudden cold that should not be there. A clock that ticks louder at midnight. A mark on the wall that wasn't there yesterday. Dreams that leave you breathless, confused. A sound you can't trace, a room you haven't entered in months. These signs are not accidents. They are warnings. They are counting down. For if the hidden thing is not addressed, the signs will be erased. Not by man, but by time itself. And once the signs are erased, recovery will be 10 times harder. But this message is not for every ear. It is only for the keeper, the gatekeeper of the house, the one whose name heaven whispers when speaking of responsibility, the one who senses there's more than meets the eye. If this reaches you, it's because you are the one. You are the steward. You are the watchman on the wall. And if you're reading this now, it's because heaven knew you would. You were marked for this revelation. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. But the Spirit speaks clearly. To receive the rest, you must first still yourself. Silence is the key. Stillness is your gate. Obedience is your activation. Be still. You not speak. Listen. What is hidden will be named. What is locked will be opened. And what is fading will be recovered. But only if you act before the signs erase. Type I receive this in the comments if this word has found you. Blessing code 777 is now activated over your house. By the mouth of Michael, by the voice of heaven, hear now. This word is not written. It is summoned. It travels like lightning from the high courts of heaven, carried not by wind but by divine urgency. This is not a prophecy for later. This is a summons for now. The watchers have stirred. The oil has tipped, and the hourglass has begun its final pour. The archangel stands, not at a distance, but at the threshold of your house. His sword, though sheathed, trembles with the weight of what must be said. His eyes are aflame, not with anger, but with grief-laced urgency. His hand is stretched, not to strike but to beckon. He does not speak with thunder, but with a whisper that could shake the earth. Open the door. The unseen must be revealed before the signs are erased. In the next 2 sunrises, the spiritual pattern around your house will shift. The balance will tilt. Heaven will make a decision based on your response. That's how serious this is. You don't have time to overthink this. You don't need confirmation from men. What you need now is obedience. Immediate. Total. Unwavering. There was a moment last night. The lamp flickered. The wind paused. You thought it was just your mind. But it wasn't. It was the atmosphere shifting. A divine interruption. That's when the first sign was issued. Some heard it. Most did not. Because the voice of heaven doesn't scream. It chooses the chosen and speaks only to those who are still enough to hear. If you're hearing this now, you are among them. You have kept the lamp lit, and the lamp draws revelation. Only those who keep the flame alive will perceive what's happening. Only the watchers. Only the gatekeepers. The rest will walk by your house and see nothing, but you will know. You will see the curtain shift. You will hear the creak in the floorboards. You will smell something that hasn't been present in years. You will know because you are marked to know. And now, you must open what's been shut. Not metaphorically, literally. The attitude. The locked drawer. The box you pushed beneath the bed. The room no one speaks about. The forgotten letter. The photograph you couldn't throw away. Something is hidden within your house, and heaven will no longer permit it to stay sealed. The delay in exposure has become a delay in destiny. And that delay is costing your family. Yes, your family is at risk. Not by natural threat alone, but by something far more cunning. Spiritual theft. Legacy, peace, even inheritance are under watch. Not by man, but by those that prowl and listen for silence. And silence, when misused, becomes permission. This isn't about scaring you. This is about awakening you. Obey without proof. Let your obedience be the proof. You will not receive the next sign until you obey the first call. That is heaven's law. A hidden thing must be uncovered. The door must be open. The watchers are waiting. In the realm of man, people wait on signs. But in the realm of spirit, heaven waits on you. You are the keeper. You are the gate. And the gate must now open. Type "I am the gatekeeper" in the comments if you receive this word. Lesson code 4444 is now surrounding your house. Here is something watching from inside the house. Not from the corners your eyes can plainly see, but from behind the veil, where silence speaks and shadows breathe. And you have felt it. Not once, but repeatedly. You walked into a room and forgotten why. You've laid your keys on the counter only to find them in the hallway. You've turned off the light, only for it to flicker back on. And each time, your spirit whispered, "Something is off." You weren't imagining it. You weren't paranoid. Something has been disrupted in your domain, not because of madness, but because the spirit realm has stirred. There are whispers, soft, cyclical. They repeat, words you don't fully hear but feel, especially in the early morning, between sleep and waking, when the veil is thinnest. And lately, the dreams have grown louder. Faces you can't recognize sitting at the edges of your bed. Rooms you've never walked through suddenly appearing in sleep. Names you haven't spoken in years being spoken back to you. And in those dreams, figures sit in corners, watching, waiting, sometimes smiling, sometimes silent, always there, and around you. The world pretends nothing is wrong, but heaven knows what they don't. You've begun to notice small shifts in people's behavior. A neighbor looks too long at your window. A friend says something cryptic, then laughs it off. A relative starts bringing up stories from your childhood, but they feel out of place, as if testing your memory. Gossip stirs like a faint wind outside the door, and you start to wonder, do they know? Not everything, but something. Yes, someone knows something, but no one knows everything, except heaven. And the more the signs surface, the more uneasy you become. Not panicked, just unsettled. You're questioning dual relationships. You're questioning their motives. You're questioning who around you is really aligned and who is merely performing loyalty. Conversations that once felt warm now feel strategic. You sense a gap between words spoken and intentions hidden. It isn't betrayal you smell. It's camouflage. Heaven is showing you beneath the surface. The environment itself is testifying. There's a cold spot at the bottom of the stairs, and no amount of heat can touch it. There is a scent that emerges behind the wallpaper, aged, like mildew, but heavier spiritual. There's a certain photo that always falls, always at the same time, no matter how straight you hang it. And lately, the foundation of the house has trembled. A faint, barely there vibration, like the bones of the home itself are speaking. You tried to explain it away, but your spirit knows. This is not physical. This is spiritual. You've tried to dismiss it as a mood. You've told yourself you're tired, sensitive or stressed. But no, this is not emotional confusion. This is revelatory pressure. Heaven is pushing the hidden thing to the surface. Because the house is speaking now. The house is remembering what you've forgotten. The house is trying to return the thing that was buried, hidden, sealed in silence. Then, just when you begin to dismiss it, you find something. A folded paper tucked between books. An old key taped behind a drawer. A tremor at midnight so strong, the glass shakes. This is not random. This is the first uncovering. It is heaven showing you a clue, not to satisfy your curiosity, but to compel your obedience. You are being pulled deeper, not for fear's sake, but for truth's release. You are not losing your mind. You are awakening your mantle. You are not being haunted. You are being summoned. A mystery is no longer dormant. The disruption is now divine. What you find next will determine what is released in the spirit. Will you investigate? Will you obey? Will you open the place you sealed long ago? Type "I am ready to uncover" in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 3399 is now flowing through your house. If this message has stirred something deep within you, if the Holy Spirit has confirmed that this word was sent to your house and for your hour, then now is the time to act in the Spirit and partner with heaven's work. When you support this ministry, you are not giving to a person. You are sowing into a divine mission that touches households, redeems destinies, and breaks spiritual silence. Just as the house holds mysteries to uncover, your giving unlocks doors in the lives of others who are waiting for their moment of release. Isaiah 58:12 declares, "You will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the foundations." This is your mantle. And when you sow, you are helping others rebuild what was lost. This is your trigger line. If your heart just said, "I needed this," then heaven just said, "Then give into it." If you feel the urgency in this word, support the mission now through Super Thanks, membership, or through our PayPal link in the description below. Your obedience is not just provision, it's prophetic warfare. Declare this with your giving. "I am rebuilding the foundation." Do not delay. Sow, and see heaven respond. This is not a coincidence. This is not superstition. This is warfare. What you are witnessing in your house, what you have felt in the silence, what you have seen in the shadows, what you have sensed but couldn't name, is the trembling edge of spiritual conflict, now brought to your threshold. You must understand, your house has become a battlefield, not because of its walls, its history, or its appearance, but because of what it represents in the Spirit. There is an anointing on your house that was planted long ago, perhaps before you ever walked its floors, perhaps even before you were born. An assignment has rested on this ground. A covenant was once spoken over it. A promise was buried in its foundation. And now, after years of delay, denial, or deception, heaven has decided it's time to reveal what was hidden in its core. And that's why the enemy came. That's why the dreams intensified. That's why the silence grew heavier. Because wherever destiny dwells, warfare follows. You were not attacked randomly. Your house wasn't disturbed because it was weak. It was targeted because it was chosen. The resistance you felt wasn't because of error, but because of elevation. The darkness that brushed the edges of your peace did not come by accident. It was dispatched to delay the unveiling. Let it be made clear, you are not under judgment. You are under surveillance. Heaven has not been silent. It has been watching. Every movement in the Spirit has been tracked. Every whisper in the hallway, every moment of discernment, every decision to pray when you didn't know why, all of it has been recorded in heaven's ledger. Angels have been assigned. They've walked the perimeter of your dwelling. They've stood over the rooms where prayers were once offered and where tears still stain the pillows. Heaven is forgotten. The house has not been forsaken, but the battle has intensified, because what has been buried must now be brought forth. You are precious, but you are also dangerous, and that is why you have been resisted. Your voice, your authority, your spiritual inheritance, they carry weight in the spirit realm. And if the hidden thing in your house remains concealed, your voice remains muzzled. That is the strategy of the enemy, to keep the house distracted, confused, emotionally exhausted, spiritually numb. Because a muted house cannot prophesy. A house filled with unspoken pain cannot release breakthrough, and a house out of alignment cannot carry revival. But hear this now, the battle is not in vain. The conflict you feel is not a punishment, it is a refining. Heaven has allowed it, not to break you, but to forge you. Tribulation is the furnace. Obedience is the key. And victory is near, but only to those who can see the war for what it truly is. You are being invited into heaven's strategy. This is not about fixing a family issue or dealing with an old emotion. This is about exposing the spiritual architecture of oppression that has lived beneath the surface of your house. It's not just about a drawer, a key, or a memory. It's about a pattern, a spiritual stronghold passed down, tolerated, or ignored. And the moment you expose it, the enemy loses jurisdiction. But the exposure must be intentional. It must be prophetic. It must be holy. The time of passive spirituality has ended. You must now see the house as heaven sees it, a gate, a place of passage, a vessel of legacy, and a war zone that must now be secured. Michael stands watch, waiting for your agreement. Heaven is not passive. The angels are not idle. They are ready, but they move only when you do. Step into the fire, not to be burned, but to be purified. Because once the hidden thing is exposed, the house will breathe again. Peace will return. Authority will rise. And your name will once again be called in the courts of heaven. Type "I expose the hidden thing" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2290 is now engaged over your household. Now hear me clearly. The hand is already moving. A shift has begun in the unseen realm, and heaven commands me to warn you. If you do not act within the window, what was meant to be exposed will be erased. There is a turning underway. A decision is being weighed. A transaction is close to completion. And if the guardian of the house, you, does not rise and respond, the enemy will finalize what was never meant to be his. There is an invisible countdown. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit has felt it. The tension in your chest, the dreams growing louder, the random waking at odd hours. It's not exhaustion. It's not anxiety. It's the spirit realm pressing against the veil, trying to wake the watchman, trying to alert the steward, trying to pull the warrior out of silence. Within the next 72 hours, a spiritual turning point will present itself. You will not recognize it as dramatic. It will not appear wrapped in lightning or fire. No, it will appear mundane. A conversation with someone you haven't heard from in months. A scent in the hallway you haven't smelled in years. A knock on the door at a strange time. A blown fuse. A flickering lamp. A word repeated on the lips of two different people in two different places. And you must discern it. You must see with your spiritual eyes, not your natural ones. Something, or someone, is preparing a shift, and it will affect your household if left unchecked. There's a visitor coming, not always in flesh, but sometimes in word, in image, in test. There will be a confrontation, not always loud, sometimes subtle, but you must be ready to discern the spirit behind the thing. You must prepare, not in panic, but in precision. And mark this, you may feel the temptation to confront it in the open, to shout it out, to fight back with force or frustration. But heaven gives you this command: do not fight with noise. Fight with knowledge. Do not expose prematurely what heaven has only just begun to uncover. For in this hour, your strength is in your stillness. Your power is in your documentation. What you see, record. What you hear, write down. What you find, guard. What you discern, pray into. Do not let emotion lead you. Let the whispers of the Spirit become your compass. And now the most urgent part. If you delay, you risk the erasure of the very sign sent to help you. If you look away now, if you dismiss this moment as imagination or mere spiritual curiosity, the thing you were meant to expose will bury itself deeper. And when the sign fades, so does your authority to act. This is a limited window. What you don't reveal now may remain hidden for another generation. You are not just protecting yourself. You are securing the inheritance of those who follow you. The cost of delay is not just loss, it is theft. If you remain silent, the enemy will rewrite the story that was meant to bring you freedom. He will turn testimony into trauma, and the house will become a holding cell instead of a gate of glory. But if you act now, if you open the place you've avoided, if you respond to the nudge you've resisted, you will interrupt the enemy's plan, and heaven will intervene with fire. Listen carefully. When it happens, you'll know. You will feel it in your bones. You will sense it behind the curtain of the moment. When it comes, stand in your appointed place. Do not flinch. Do not run. Do not beg. Stand. What? And declare what heaven has given you to speak. This is your threshold. What you do now determines what crosses it next. Type "I will not miss my moment" in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 5656 is now active over your hour. Now that the warning has been released, now that the window has been opened, you must take your position, not as a panicked soul running in confusion, but as one marked by heavenly strategy. This is where your posture determines your outcome. This is where your obedience builds your shield. Heaven does not call you to war and leave you unprotected. It calls you to war and then teaches your hands to battle in silence. You do not fight this with noise. You fight this with stillness, with consecration, with precision. A word is clear: be still. Not still with fear, but still with power. Not still in hesitation, but still in holy readiness. When you are still, heaven moves. When you are silent, the angels speak. When you restrain your hand from panic, Michael lifts his sword. There is something sacred in your restraint. Every natural impulse will want to speak too quickly, to act too fast, to confront what needs to be exposed gently. But do not move by impulse. Move by instruction. Tonight, before you sleep, walk through your home with spiritual intentionality. If the Spirit of the Lord directs you, light a single lamp in a quiet room. Do not speak. Just listen. Walk room by room and invite divine counsel into every space. Touch the doors. Lay your hands on the thresholds. If you have oil, anoint them. If not, stretch your hands and pray that heaven's order would fall like dew. This is not ritual. This is reclamation. You are reclaiming your territory, not for fear's sake, but for heaven's sake. Silence the noise around you. Cancel the unnecessary conversations. Delay the meetings that drain you. This is not the hour for small talk. It is the hour of watching. Limit who walks through your doors during this time. Not everyone carries the right spirit, and not every spirit will honor the sanctity of what heaven is doing in your house. Even among those you love, there must be boundaries now. This is not rejection. This is protection. Withdraw from every toxic exchange, verbal, digital, or emotional. Do not announce what God is doing. Do not advertise your awakening. Heaven works in hiddenness before it works in power. Michael is moving, but only with those who respect the silence. Your obedience in this moment is your armor. Your stillness is your sword, and your discernment is your key. When the urge comes to question, is this really necessary? Remember this: the enemy thrives in open doors, and most spiritual thefts happen not because we were evil, but because we were unguarded. This house, your house, is not neutral ground. It is sacred. It holds legacy. It carries covenant. And anything that attempts to claim it illegally must be resisted with fire and faith. Remind yourself daily, my house is watched. My name is known in heaven. Say it aloud until your atmosphere shifts. Speak until your words become armor. Heaven responds not just to thought, but to declaration. This is also the moment to reach for wise counsel, not many, not loud voices, but one or two who have shown consistency, purity, and loyalty in the Spirit. Bring them into agreement. Let them pray over your space. Let them agree with what you've discerned. But test their spirit. The wrong voice can confuse your clarity. Only bring in those who carry weight in heaven. And finally, be reassured. If you obey, you will be protected. You are not walking through this alone. You have not been left to figure this out in the flesh. You are surrounded. You are shielded. You are guarded by the very ones who stand in the courts of the Almighty. Michael does not war without instruction. He wars when the signal is given, and that signal is your obedience. The house is under divine watch. The guardian is rising. The hidden thing is about to be uncovered, and heaven will cover you in the revealing. Type "My house is shielded" in the comments if you are obeying this instruction. Blessing code 8787 is released over your threshold. Now the shift begins. Now the turning takes place. Now, the mantle that once lay dormant begins to move upon your shoulders again. Not as a burden, but as a sign that heaven has remembered your name. You are not who they thought you were. You are not the tired, confused, passive soul they expected to remain silent behind that door forever. You are a keeper of flame. You are a builder of legacy. You are a breaker of cycles. And the time has come to stand in the full stature of who you were always meant to be. You were never the victim. You were never just the caretaker of a cursed history. You were never just the one trying to survive. No, heaven always called you by a different name. Heaven always saw you as the key holder, the name bearer, the righteous disruptor. And now the veil of confusion begins to tear. The fog is lifting. What was once unclear is now illuminated. Because your house, yes, your house, was chosen as a place where divine authority would be reawakened. Every lie that was whispered over you, about your worth, your ability, your calling, is now being revoked. Heaven does not speak in shame. Heaven speaks in charge. And now the charge is clear. Rise. Rise and reclaim what was almost lost. Rise and take hold of what was nearly stolen. Rise and walk through the rooms that fear told you to ignore. Heaven has authorized you. The enemy knows it. The atmosphere feels it. And now you must walk like it. See it clearly now. Light is breaking through the cracks. What was buried is now blooming. The roof over your mind, once clouded in confusion, is lifting. And beneath your feet, the ground is steadying. You are not standing in chaos. You are standing in consecrated territory. The wings that felt clipped are now unfurling. The wind that once pressed against you is now behind you. You are not surviving anymore. You are ascending. Reclaim your house room by room, not just with your hands, but with your words. Speak over your bedroom. Declare peace over your children's rooms. Command divine order over your doorways. Restore the authority that was once surrendered in silence. Every room you avoided, every space you abandoned in fear, return to it now, not as the wounded, but as the watcher anointed by heaven. This empowerment is not just emotional, it is spiritual recommissioning. Every step you take in obedience right now is rewriting the atmosphere of your home. You are not just taking back furniture and memories, you are taking back destiny. You are rebuilding your altar. And the fire will not go out this time. Because this time, you're not building in your own strength. You are building under direct instruction from heaven. Let heaven train your hands again. Small acts, quiet mornings, still prayers, declarations of truth, oil upon the door frame. These are no longer habits. These are heavenly strategies. Each act of obedience sharpens your authority. Each refusal to panic strengthens your resolve. And you will begin to see signs, not just of warning but of restoration. A key return. A letter reopened. A peaceful sleep where nightmares once lived. Conversations that heal, not wound. And reconciliation where there was once only fracture. The house is shifting because you are shifting. And what once resisted your authority is now bowing to your obedience. Do not apologize for your rise. Do not shrink back because others are confused. You are not performing for them. You are responding to heaven's trumpet. This is your hour to rise. This is your moment to stand tall and take your place. You are no longer beneath. You are the gatekeeper, the voice, the braider, the builder. Heaven's promotion has already been issued. The only question is, will you wear the robe, or will you hang it back on the hook? Type "I rise in my authority" in the comments if this is your turning point. Blessing code 3939 is now released upon your mantle. Now the Spirit of the Lord speaks plainly. The mystery that surrounded your house was not random. The delay you endured was not without divine timing. The hidden thing, whether it be a truth, a name, a memory, an object, or a generational secret, was not concealed to harm you. It was concealed because heaven ordained a specific moment of revelation. That moment is now. The veil is lifting not to punish but to position you. You have been entrusted with the unveiling of something holy. Something heaven kept sealed until you were strong enough to receive it without breaking. And now, you have crossed that threshold. The Spirit says, this house was meant to hold increase, not deception. It was meant to carry oil, not residue. It was designed to house vision, not trauma. It was built as a vessel for generational blessing, but over time, it absorbed the grief, the shame, and the silent agreements made by those who didn't know how to guard it. But heaven has chosen you to stop the pattern. You are the interruption. You are the vessel of reversal. And the hidden thing is not here to destroy you. It is here to elevate you. What you uncover will not only answer questions, it will open doors. It will unlock the next level of your authority. You were not imagining the delay in finances, the tension in relationships, the random resistance in places where there should have been peace. These were the side effects of something buried beneath the surface. Now that it's exposed, watch the lines break. Watch the resistance fold. Watch the favor flow freely. This was not punishment. This was pruning. God allowed what was removed to be removed so that what remains could be multiplied. You have cried over the loss. You have wept over the silence. But what you called subtraction, heaven calls refinement. And now, your house is not empty. It is ready. Ready for expansion. Ready for new wine. Ready to receive what could not be poured until the old container cracked. And yes, there is a name coming to you. Perhaps you already saw it. In a dream. In a flash of memory. On a page. And keeps appearing. Do not ignore it. Speak it aloud in the stillness. That name is not coincidence. It is the spiritual traitor to the next instruction. Some of you will find a sealed box, an old journal, a forgotten document. Do not be afraid. Open it with reverence. Heaven will guide your eyes to what matters. This is not information. It is activation. There is a ledger in the spirit, and your obedience is being recorded. Life for condemnation but for reward. Every time you choose stillness over chaos, every time you follow the whisper instead of the crowd, every time you say yes in the quiet, heaven moves closer to fulfilling its word over your house. And hear this, you are not behind. You are not late. Heaven's timing has not failed you. This revelation could not come earlier because you were not ready. But now you are. Now the house can carry the weight. Now the walls can echo with destiny again. Now the name of the Lord can be enthroned over your rooms, your thresholds, your lineage. So take the next faith step. Open the drawer. Break the seal. Call the name. Write the prayer. Draw the line in the spirit and say, this house is now realigned with heaven. You have authority. You have heaven's backing. You have Michael on assignment. And above all, you have the promise of God, who never forgets a house marked with obedience. Type reveal IT, Lord, in the comments if this word is finding your house. Blessing code 1212 is now unlocking divine secrets over your home. You just heard it. This isn't just about uncovering what's hidden in your house. It's about activating what's divine in your future. If this message resonated with your spirit, don't let it pass by like just another word. When you give, you sow into the uncovering of truth, not only in your life, but in the lives of thousands who need the same breakthrough. Your support helps release revelation, prepare households for restoration, and awaken spiritual warriors just like you. Just like your house hath been marked, so is this mission. And when you sow, You're placing oil on the altars of others who are waiting to awaken. Scripture says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." That's not a verse. That's a promise for you right now. If this word stirred something in you, then respond. Give through super thanks. Join the membership family, or sow through the PayPal link in the video description below. This is not charity. This is warfare. This is restoration. This is obedience. Declare this with your seed. My house will fulfill its calling. And then watch heaven honor your faith. Now that the hidden thing has been uncovered, and now that the revelation has come forth, there is only one direction left to move: forward. Heaven is not content with your survival. Heaven is not finished with mere revelation. What was revealed was not the final goal. It was the activation of your destiny. You did not come this far to return to silence. You were not awakened to stay asleep in a new position. The voice of God is clear. Now act. You must begin to speak what heaven has shown you. Speak it aloud in your home. Speak it over your bloodline. Speak it to the rooms that once echoed with silence and shame. Begin to declare, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will not be haunted. We will not be hindered. We will not be held back by what was hidden. We are walking in divine assignment." There is a power in your voice now that wasn't present before, because now your voice is armed with truth, and truth always breaks the lie. Make declarations short, bold, and holy. Say them over your doorways. Speak them while you wash the dishes. Whisper them as you lay down to sleep. Say them when your flesh feels afraid. Speak until fear gives way to fire. You are not begging for peace anymore. You are enforcing it. You are not wishing for restoration. You are commanding it under heaven's authority. Heaven has authorized you to take physical action now. This is the part most believers miss. Revelation without action is just information, but action seals the transaction. Light a candle in your home as a prophetic sign of the watch being taken back. Stand at your door and declare the mission of your house. Lock every room that was once violated by confusion, and open the rooms that had been spiritually boarded up by shame. These aren't just symbolic acts, they are spiritual transactions. Now is the time to walk room by room and set order. Get rid of what carries the wrong scent. Burn the letter that keeps you bound to what heaven has already canceled. Clean out the drawer that holds remnants of a season heaven closed. Set the house in order, spiritually and physically. Because what heaven is about to bring must have clean landing ground. This isn't just about your inner healing, it's about generational alignment. There are documents you must locate. There are voices you must forgive. There are patterns you must break. Make a list of what the Spirit reveals: papers to find, people to bless, things to secure. Do not delay. Do not second guess. Do not underestimate the importance of these steps. Each one is a doorway into the next dimension of your calling. And as you do this, activate agreement. Find 2 faithful witnesses, not just anyone, but 2 whose spirit is aligned, whose fruit is visible, and whose loyalty is proven. Invite them to pray with you, to bless your house, to seal the word. Let them be the echo of heaven's agreement. Because where 2 or 3 gather in His name, the courts of heaven respond with force. Let this be your empowerment. You are not waiting on God to act. He is waiting on your yes. Destiny does not manifest by emotion. It manifests by alignment. And now the alignment has begun. You have uncovered. You have obeyed. You have declared. Now you must walk. Walk into the room. Walk into the calling. Walk into the vision. Walk into the anointing. This is no longer about what happened. This is about what must happen next. Heaven is waiting. Earth is shifting. The house is ready. The gatekeeper has awakened. Type "I activate my destiny" in the comments if you are stepping into the now. Blessing code 7171 is breaking open the sealed doors of your purpose. There is a trade happening. Not in your bank account. Not in your schedule. But in the spirit realm, where heaven writes in ink that men cannot erase. While you slept, heaven was speaking. While you wept, heaven was recording. While you stood at the edge of confusion, a silent negotiation was taking place over your house. And even now, as you hear these words, there is an exchange occurring in the unseen, sacred, weighty, holy. This is what few understand. Every spiritual act of obedience causes a shift in heaven's court. Every prayer you whispered when no one was listening. Every boundary you reset. Every time you turned away from the familiar pain to face the unknown path of obedience, heaven recorded it. And those actions became evidence in your favor. In the courtrooms of God, the angels stood. Michael stood. And the evidence was laid before the throne. The tears. The silence. The surrender. The nights you nearly gave up but didn't. Heaven saw it all. You must know this. Not a single moment of your obedience hath been wasted. In the natural, it may look like nothing has moved. But in the spirit, scrolls are being unsealed. Titles are being restored. Ledgers are being reviewed. What was stolen is being tracked. What was cursed is being reversed. There is a divine reversal in process right now. You cannot see it with natural eyes, but your spirit senses it. The lightness that suddenly enters the room, the peace that interrupts the fear, the dreams that begin to carry clarity instead of confusion. These are the signs of exchange. The spirit realm is alive with transaction. Debts are being canceled, not just financial, but emotional, generational, spiritual. The agreements that were once made in ignorance are being revoked by the authority of your obedience. You said yes, and heaven said, "Then let it be done." You walked into the room, and heaven said, "Release what was withheld." You dared to uncover what others left buried, and now the angels are retrieving what was sealed away. There are agents at work, angelic hosts assigned specifically to your house, your name, your bloodline. They are not idle. They are not confused. They are not waiting for another command. They are executing the restoration already ordered. Michael is not fighting alone. He is in divine counsel, and your ancestors, those who walked in the light, those who prayed when no one listened, they are bearing witness. They are interceding from realms beyond what you see, and they are rejoicing. Because what they carried, you are now activating. What they began, you are now continuing. This is not only your battle, it is your inheritance. You need to release the fear that nothing is changing, because something is always changing in the spirit before it manifests in the natural. Time is not delayed. Time is being perfected. There is no wasted season when God is the one writing the story. And though human hands may have fumbled the pages, heaven's pen is uplifted. Let this truth anchor you now. Nothing truly lost is beyond heaven's ledger. If it was stolen, it can be restored. If it was broken, it can be rebuilt. If it was silenced, it can be sung again. The house that once held shadows is now becoming a gate of glory. The exchange has already begun. But it is your continued agreement that keeps the gates open. Do not fall into doubt. Do not shrink back. Stand and wait in obedience. Stand and watch heaven return what was yours all along. You have traded trauma for testimony. You have traded silence for song. You have traded shame for supernatural vindication. The exchange is holy. The exchange is real. And the exchange is in motion now. Type "I receive heaven's exchange" in the comments if this word bears witness with you. Lesson code 4545 is sealing every transaction in the courts of heaven. The gavel of heaven has fallen. The court has spoken. Justice is no longer a promise. It is now in motion. What the enemy thought he buried in the walls of your house is now being summoned into the light. What was taken, twisted, or silenced is not lost. It is not forgotten. It is being returned sevenfold. The judge of all creation has ruled in your favor, not because you begged, but because you obeyed. And now, the process of divine reversal has begun. You must understand, justice in the kingdom does not move like justice in the earth. It is not limited by time, legal systems, or man-made rules. God's justice is total. It doesn't simply compensate. It restores the spiritual balance and reclaims the territory that the enemy tried to rebrand as cursed. What you thought was permanently broken, your peace, your authority, your credibility, is being rebuilt not at the level of what it was, but at the level of what it was always meant to be. There is a public reversal coming. You may not know when or how, but it will be visible. Not for the sake of your ego, but for the sake of testimony. The Lord is about to make your house a witness. But who once whispered about what was wrong will see what was made right. Those who smiled in silence while things fell apart will witness you rise, not in pride, but in purpose. The same rooms where arguments echoed will now carry peace. The same floors where secrets sat will now carry psalms of deliverance. Because where justice flows, heaven's presence follows. And hear this, heaven's justice does not only fix what was broken, it reverses the weight of every false word, every illegal agreement, every plan spoken in the dark. Some of you have been victims of slander. Some of you have been bound by old words spoken in bitterness, by family, by leaders, by old friends. Those words became chains, but justice is breaking them now. The scales have tilted. The false verdicts are being overturned. The names spoken in dishonor are now being rewritten in glory. But you must let heaven finish the work. You must resist the urge to seek vengeance. You must not try to fight the battle in your own flesh. Do not retaliate. Do not attempt to correct everything with your own hands. Let the Lord handle it. His justice is cleaner than yours. His hand is more precise. Your job is to steward the restoration, not orchestrate the revenge. There are consequences coming, but they are not your assignment. The same spirit that tried to suffocate your house will be exposed and expelled. The same forces that operated in the background will lose their legal right to remain. And as the reversal happens, peace will begin to settle like dew on your windows. You'll see it in the little things, a deeper sleep, laughter in rooms that once held tension, open doors that had long been sealed shut. These are not coincidences. These are the fruits of justice. Your reputation is being restored. Your discernment is being sharpened. Your name is being cleaned in realms you didn't even know were tarnished. And your household is being renamed. From overlooked to chosen. From broken to appointed. From delayed to delivered. This is heaven's verdict. You are cleared. You are covered. You are commissioned. The reversal has begun. What once drained your house will now bless it. What once mocked you will now watch you be elevated. And what once kept you bound will now be beneath your feet. Because the one who judges rightly has spoken. And when he speaks, no other voice can stand. Type "justice is mine" in the comments if this verdict belongs to your house. Blessing code 9900 is now flowing into every corner of your restoration. This is about your house, not someone else's, not a metaphor, not a maybe. Yours. The walls that have heard your cries, the rooms that held your silence, the floor that carried your footsteps when you didn't know where you were going. This word has been for you from the beginning. The house was not haunted, it was holding something. The silence wasn't empty, it was sacred waiting. And now, heaven has spoken, the archangel has stood, the signs have come, and the moment has been made clear. You are no longer blind to what was hidden. You are no longer delayed by what was denied. You are no longer circling the same hallway of confusion, fear, or false identity. The hidden thing hath been exposed, and now the house is realigned. Michael has delivered his charge. You have heard the warning. You have received the instruction. And now the activation must become manifestation. You will not return to powerlessness. You will not live another day walking past the very place heaven told you to open. You are no longer under surveillance. You are under assignment. You are not being watched to be tested. You are being guarded to be trusted. The spiritual lockdown hath been lifted. And now the atmosphere of your house is shifting in real time. So now, I release this blessing over you. By the authority of heaven, by the instruction of the Spirit, and under the covering of Michael, the watcher and warrior, let every shadow that once had legal ground in your house be removed. Let every spiritual parasite lose its grip. Let every memory, every hidden word, every forgotten name now be held in the light of Christ's dominion. May your thresholds be covered in peace. May your rooms echo with joy. May the foundation beneath you no longer groan but rejoice. Let the ceiling that once felt like limitation now be lifted as a canopy of divine vision. From this day forward, you will not walk in suspicion, you will walk in discernment. You will not fear exposure, you will welcome clarity. You will not live beneath the blessing, you will live as the blessing. Now go. Go in quiet obedience. Go with divine sight. Go with heaven's approval. Go with angelic protection. And go in peace, knowing this truth. You are sealed, seen, and sent. You are no longer the one waiting for the signs. You are the sign. Perform the act heaven revealed. Open the door. Call the name. Burn the remnant. Bless the house. Take the step. Because this isn't just a message, it's a mandate. And with this, I give you heaven's final decree. Your house shall be called a gate of restoration, and your name shall be found in the record of those who obeyed when others hesitated. Your house shall not fall, it shall flourish, and the angels assigned to it shall remain until the assignment is complete. Oh, the veil is torn. The watchers have seen. The seals have been broken, and heaven has already moved. Type "My house is restored" in the comments to seal this final word. Blessing code 1010 is covering your walls and resting on your name. If this message brought clarity to your spirit and stirred something deep in your soul, then respond not just with words, but with worship in action. This isn't about donating to a page. It's about sowing into the movement of heaven that is activating destinies and delivering households across the earth. When you give, you help this sound reach another house, another soul, another watcher on the edge of giving up. The same way your house was chosen, so is this assignment. God is using this platform to tear veils and restore altars, and you can partner in that divine work. Scripture says, "Give, and it shall be given to you." Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not theory. It is your prophetic invitation to engage the flow of heaven. Right now, you can give through Super Thanks, become part of the family through membership, or sow directly through PayPal using the link in the video description below. Don't just hear this word, become a part of what heaven is doing through it. Declare with your giving, "I seal this word," and release it to reach others. Your obedience will echo through houses you may never see, but heaven will count your name among the ones who made it possible.